Lionel Messi, for any football fan, needs no introduction. He has dominated the headlines in world football for the last decade, and despite being 32 years of age, he continues to be one of the best players in the world. Personally, as a Barcelona fan, I think he's the best player in the world. Now, obviously, the statement is biased considering the fact that since he started playing for Barcelona, he has helped the club to 4 Champions Leagues, 10 La Liga titles, multiple El Clasico wins, and hundreds, literally hundreds of amazing goals. So it goes without saying that every Barcelona fan thinks Messi is the greatest player in the world, maybe even in the history of the game. But that is always up for debate. If Messi were to leave Barcelona today, he would leave as the player with the most goals in La Liga history, Barcelona history, the player with the most La Liga trophies, the player with the most La Liga assists, and the records keep spinning on and on and on. His CV in club football is incredible. The goals he has scored have truly been works of genius, and if you ask a majority of Barcelona fans whether they would want Messi to stay or leave, most would want Messi to stay. On the opposite end, most clubs in the world, maybe with the exception of Real Madrid, would sign Messi in a heartbeat. So why would I, a Barcelona fan, for nearly 2 decades, want the greatest player in FC Barcelona's history to leave? Well, I have a couple of reasons why I think so. First of all, Messi has been the best player for Barcelona for at least the last decade. But since 2015, which was the last time FC Barcelona won the Champions League, the team has slowly but surely increased its reliance on Messi far more than usual. During the Guardiola years, Messi was the star of the team, but the focal point was the midfield that oftentimes controlled the game, and with strikers like Eto'o and David Villa, who both were world class, Messi was the X factor that made a really good team into one of the greatest teams ever. Even under Luis Enrique, when the focus from the passing game shifted to a more attacking-based style of play, FC Barcelona had Neymar and Suarez, with an aging but still effective Xavi and Iniesta in midfield that helped them win the Champions League. Both teams had a clear philosophy and a style of play that didn't put all the responsibility on the shoulders of one man. Each player on the field added genuine value, helping control the game from start to finish on both ends of the field. However, if you have been watching FC Barcelona like me week in and week out over the last couple of seasons, you will know the team is suffering greatly from a lack of identity on the field, which has resulted in what I like to call a give the ball to Messi style of play, which is extremely frustrating as a Barcelona fan because that is usually the opposite of how the team plays. Since the turn of the century, FC Barcelona has had a clear superstar in its team. Whether it's Rivaldo, Ronaldinho, Messi, there's always one player who is the superstar. However, this is the first time where it seems like the game plan when the team gets on the field, especially when the team is losing, is give the ball to Messi and let him save us. Now this has worked on some occasions. Messi has stepped up and delivered moments of magic, dragging FC Barcelona to wins. But this philosophy has also been terrible for the team, especially in the Champions League, which is a competition FC Barcelona is expected to challenge for every season. FC Barcelona got knocked out in humiliating fashion by Roma 3-0 and last year by Liverpool 4-0, both in the second leg and both away from home. What is really frustrating about these losses is that FC Barcelona had a 3-goal advantage in both of those games going into the second leg. Last year especially, despite playing terribly against Liverpool in the first leg, Lionel Messi scored twice to ensure that FC Barcelona would be in a comfortable position going into the second leg. But we all know what happened next. Now, building a team around Messi would not be so bad if the players around him were consistent enough and were world class, except FC Barcelona have been extremely terrible in the transfer market, so much so that I made a video on it. But that's besides the point. They have spent 300 million on Griezmann, Dembele and Coutinho, all three of whom have been next to useless since they have arrived at the Camp Nou. And with the likes of De Jong and Arthur, who have been bright spots, they have struggled with inconsistency, and last season, to showcase how absolutely terrible FC Barcelona's transfer policy is, in the winter transfer market, where they could have gotten a player who could have helped them in the Champions League, they went and got Kevin Prince Boateng. who even during his peak years at Milan would have been an odd transfer to make, let alone a player way past his prime, playing for Sassuolo. FC Barcelona have no choice but to build around Lionel Messi, who is turning 33 by the way come June, because he's by far their best player, and I see this as a problem. As much as I hate to say it, Messi won't be getting better as he gets older. He might still be a 35 goal a season player, which is phenomenal for any age, but unless FC Barcelona go back to a team-based style of play, I do not see them contending for even La Liga in the next few years. Real Madrid are in the midst of a rebuilding process, and in a few years will probably have a squad of young superstars waiting to take over Europe. It would seem wise for the club to sell Messi and restart building the team and think of the long-term future of the club. Yes, it might take a couple of years, but it is better than waiting till we fall so far behind we can no longer compete. Now obviously the decision to leave or stay should be up to Messi himself, as he has dedicated his entire playing career to the club and has earned the right to stay as long as he chooses to. However, realistically speaking, the difference in quality between FC Barcelona and some of Europe's best teams has been increasing season by season. Watching the match between Liverpool and FC Barcelona last season showed me that difference. Now, Klopp didn't just build this team overnight. It took a few years and a couple of European final losses before they finally won a major trophy. The club did not just get the right players, but they spent wisely in the transfer market, building one of the best teams in Europe. Which brings me to my first point. I do not think FC Barcelona can realistically build a team around Lionel Messi that will be challenging for the Champions League in the next couple of seasons. As I said earlier, the club will build around Messi because he is their best player, but considering the fact that A, FC Barcelona have been poor in the transfer market, B, cannot seem to acquire a world-class manager, and C, many key players either are getting old or simply not performing consistently, makes me wonder whether the current focus should be to go down this current path or to start fresh and rebuild. The second reason why I think Messi should leave is more of a personal one. In my opinion, Messi has nothing else to prove in a Barcelona t-shirt. If Messi were to retire today, he would still have a statue of him built outside the Camp Nou, which is a testament to the consistency and brilliance he has shown since his teenage years. As a fan of football in general, it is always interesting to see how players adapt in different teams and in different leagues. And while I don't think there isn't a league in the world Messi would not thrive in, yes, even the Premier League, unlike what some fans believe, it would be nice, although weird, to see Messi play elsewhere. Also, there is always the conversation that Ronaldo managed to win in multiple leagues. Not only would Messi silence those critics, he would add on to an already illustrious record by playing for a different side. Now, I understand that the likelihood of this happening is close to 0%, and frankly the sentimental side of me wouldn't want it to happen given Messi's importance to the side. But as he became older, I started to realize that FC Barcelona will eventually have to start preparing for life after Messi. The likes of Ansu Fati, Artur, De Jong, and even possibly Neymar coming back, which I don't think is a good idea, but that's a video for another day, would suggest that the future looks bright for FC Barcelona. But currently, I am concerned as a fan, as the reliance on a player who has truly been a joy to watch over the last decade may take the club time to recover from if we do not start preparing for when he eventually leaves or retires. And the signs are there. Reports coming out of Barcelona indicate the player himself is unhappy with the current situation at the club, and even when FC Barcelona fired Valverde this season, both Ronald Koeman and Xavi declined the job, with Xavi reportedly being unhappy with the direction the club is going in. The player himself has stated he would like to play for Newell's Old Boys, his boyhood club, at some point during his career, which he has every right to. But for FC Barcelona, who have relied on him time and time again, life may be very difficult for the club after Messi. What do you think? Should Messi leave? Are Barcelona too reliant on him? I would love to know in the comment section. Once again, if you liked the video, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And peace.